Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Legal Podcast, powered by Legal Specs, where we bridge the gap between theory and practice in the legal world. At Legal Specs, we bring together legal minds who inspire students and professionals alike, individuals who have turned their passion for law into a lifelong pursuit for excellence. I'm your host, Priksha Bothra, and today we are joined by an educator, practitioner, and mentor who truly embodies that spirit, Assistant Professor Advocate Ranjeev Joseph. Sir is a skilled legal professional with deep academic roots and diverse practical experience. He has completed his 5-year LL.B. from Vivekanand College of Law, Chembur, Mumbai, a master's in competition law from Jindal Global Law School, and a postgraduate diploma in in IP laws from NLSIU, Bangalore. Over the years, he has taught at institutions like D.Y. Patil deemed to be universities School of Law, G.J. Advani Law College, and Oriental College of Law, guiding and inspiring countless students. Alongside teaching, Sir runs his independent legal practice, specialising in MSME laws, consumer protection, family law, and RERA, and is renowned for his command over legal drafting and conveyance. He continues to research and contribute academically, currently pursuing his PhD in competition law and digital markets from NMIMS University. Welcome to the Legal Podcast, sir. We are delighted to have you with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes. So before we begin, I would just like to let you know that this podcast would be available on all our social media networks in a few weeks. So let us begin. Before we get into the actual defining moments, sir, could you please share your journey into the legal profession? What inspired you to choose law? Was there a moment or influence which led you down this path?
All right. So that's a question which I usually ask all my students whenever I meet them for the first time, especially new batches, particularly why did you choose law? So coming to my own self, I had no idea that we could directly take up law after junior college itself. I was not aware of the 5-year course, and although it was not very recent, it had started around the 90s, if I'm not wrong. And but not many people knew that we could take up the 5-year integrated course without any degree. So that is one thing which I got to know later on. I was originally in science. I had done 11th and 12th in science. However, it was a very, very bad situation for me. And I am not embarrassed to say this to anyone because that is where I knew that I was not made for it. And why I felt more bad about it, and even my family members, because my mother was a scientific officer in BARC. So I mean, it was like, as they say, usually what is the case in India, that a person who's in a profession usually wants their kids also to be in that profession. So I also felt that I could do it. And usually, as they say, that brighter students go for science and all those things. Before it was there. I'm happy that all those things have changed now. So I had taken it up, but I could never score more than a single digit marks in most papers. So it was a very embarrassing moment. It was one of the lowest moments in my life, I would say. But somehow, I would not say that I just passed also. I used to fail. Again, I'm not embarrassed to say that, because you need to know what you are liking to study. Like, if I force myself to study something which I don't like at all in terms of the domain, then I am not going to end up learning anything at all. So these things happened. Then I did my 12th again in arts, humanities, as they say, from Vivekanand College itself, Chembur, Mumbai. And the staff was very supportive of me, and they knew my background. They knew the trauma which a lot of students started facing at that time. Nowadays I understand it's students are more vocal with these aspects, and that's a good sign. And the staff was very good, and I had a very good 12th standard repeat, where I scored very good marks. And I would say, I think I was a topper for political science in that year in entire Mumbai. So that was one thing which I myself couldn't believe, that if you are in the wrong boat, then definitely you're going to sail the wrong shore. And if you're, you know that if you like something, then you, that doesn't seem to be studies at all. It just seems to be that you are knowing, the aspects. So after that, I would say another contribution would be a clinical psychologist named Dr. Salma Prabhu. She is a renowned one. Many people know her. Recently, ma'am had published an article in, I think, Mumbai Mirror, if I'm not wrong, regarding the stress which one of our leading women players went through, Jemima Rodriguez. So yeah, so it was very good to know that ma'am is, leading this in terms of getting people to know about the stresses associated with, you can say, sportsmanship and stuff. So ma'am, we had gone to ma'am, my mom and me, and we had done a personality test. So I would recommend strongly for those who are really confused, lower down in their career, maybe when they are still in school, secondary school, or junior college. I would strongly recommend them to go to a good clinical psychologist or a counselor and do a psychometric test, a personality test. They have those tests. And definitely, I mean, I cannot explain how, with those 100 questions, they have come to a result which was actually accurate. Like, the outcomes came as three. First was journalist. The outcome was that I am prone to be, I would be a good journalist, I would be a good writer, and third one was lawyer. So all three, actually, I didn't know that I could do. As a kid, we don't know, that okay, I could do this. Parents might have a different inclination towards us. Sometimes some parents just project their dreams on their kids, and that creates a lot of pressure since a young age, especially Indian parents. So these aspects were there, and then I could have done anything, but then I realized that law contains journalism as well as writing, because a journalist kind of, I would say, I'm not demeaning the profession, but it is sticking to getting to know about usually governments or any other news around town, and it is having an investigative mindset. And a writer definitely writes on any topic, so lawyer covers both. So, knowing that this is legal specs, most of our viewers might be law students or those interested in the law. So, that was the way in which I kind of, entered into the law college, law school in Mumbai itself. And another thing I would just want to add is that initially every student, has very high expectations from the college, and they get disappointed very easily. Especially nowadays, it's getting more extreme, because even if the best of the best college is giving the best every week, let's say Saturday sessions, moot court sessions, still somewhere or the other there is that disappointment in the students. So that is one thing I would say, that we need to know what we're expecting from our institution as well, wherever we are joining. And that is one thing I would say. My um, uh, teachers were very kind. They are still in touch with me from law college, and they really encouraged me through the thick and thin. And that was one thing which I remember since that time.
So you spoke a lot about mental health. I would be deviating from the questions a little bit. You spoke a little bit about mental health as well. How important do you think taking care of yourself, not just physically but mentally as well, is important for a person pursuing law, or a person who's completed law and is in the profession neck deep?
Yes, it's a very important question for our field, especially, and because it's stressful, I would say. And that is one thing I would not say for those who are already, knowing about the law, or you can say, if you want to put it bluntly, you can say older people. Let's say older people, when they join law, the 3-year course, it's kind of smooth sailing for them. I have also seen. And the younger kids, because they already, yeah, they already have their own pressures in life. even a basic sentence confuses them. They probably read the page again and again. They get confused. They question themselves that what's the problem with me. So I would say, just first of all, consider law as something wherein you're trying to make legal sense of stuff. Like, it's just, I would say, just consider it as pure English. That's how I do it. So again, I would say, if your English is weak, you'll have to work on it, because if your a lot of aspects might be in some words which might confuse you, so you might have to strengthen your language. um, Definitely, I know vernacular students who have, I mean, many of them have gone on to become judges, so that doesn't stop them. But definitely, I would say, keep that preconceived notions that law is tough outside. Like, I would say, I recollect a memory of one of my brother-in-law's sister. So she basically was I just discussed with her maybe 10 years back that why don't you take up. So her reaction was very uh, you know, funny to me, I felt. He said, "Oh, law is something I would never dare do." Like, she actually shrugged. So I was like confused as to why she had this reaction. So that, I would say, it starts with that. You need to embrace law, and you need to kind of already believe that you're gonna understand it well. It's kind of like a make believe thing, I would say. If you already believe that you would not understand something, like, just as seeing the huge book with the hardbound covers, you're already intimidated. So if you feel that, no, let me deal with it step by step, then it's going to be easy. So that is one thing. Plus, also, I would say, practicing lawyers, I know many of them who are into a lot of alcohol abuse, because they're not able to cope up with stress. Again, I wouldn't personally comment about them, but again, I would say that's not the right way. We all need to have our coping mechanisms. Like, for me personally, I make sure I go for my evening walks. Even if it is for like 15 minutes, even if I'm slow, it doesn't matter. The speed doesn't matter. If it's 15 minutes, I just go, I just look around, without my device, sometimes without my phone in my hand, I leave it at home. I just have that as my coping mechanism. So we just have to have our own coping mechanism. And I think it's going to be easy after that.
Yes, sir. I think mental health has become it's a very sensitive topic to talk about, especially when it comes to talking about younger generation, because you never know
Yeah.
how they might things and how what you're saying might impact them in a completely different way. So, yes, sir. So thank you so much for sharing that. So you've taught at some of Mumbai's most respected law colleges. What are some of the biggest turning points or milestones in your teaching career? Maybe moments that made you realize that you actually had a good impact as an educator.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So basically, I would start off with the one ma'am who gave me the break, Dr. Rupali Jamode ma'am. So she was the principal of Oriental Law College for a good 9 years. So I would say, I myself did not know that I had applied for this college. And to be honest, that was my mom again. So it happens again. I know this. It's very embarrassing abroad. I know a lot of people, as soon as they turn 18, they're supposed to leave the house and then start from scratch. That's not how it works in India, which is totally fine. We have a different system here. So a lot of times there were a lot of calls I used to get from a lot of organizations, and then I used to not even know which organizations they were. And my mom used to keep applying. Again, it's important, to have channelized your anxiety into the right direction. So I was like, oh, teaching field, neutral about it. Like, could try it, something like that. So the principal really liked my profile. She really liked my CV. She took the interview, and they needed someone who could gel up with the younger kids, and most of the staff were young, people like me only. So that was her way of making sure the law college works well. And I told her clearly, I still remember that, ma'am, I'm not sure how I will deal with this, but if I'm not able to cope up, then please you can please let me go after a month. She said, don't worry, if you're not able to cope up, something is not working out, you're free to leave anytime. Forget 1 month. In 2 days also you can go. So that flexibility ma'am gave me.
That's
uh,
very important, I feel, sir. In to have flexible mentors is very, very important, in my opinion.
Exactly. Another ma'am was there, Anam ma'am, again part of the Oriental College team. So they were all very encouraging. Initially, I was very scared because I didn't know how to deal with this, because I never came with the mindset that okay, I will be an educator one day. I will teach in a class of 60 students. So I was just kind of avoiding to go to the classroom. I remember ma'am just took me somewhere and then she kind of pushed me into the classroom. She's like, she introduced me all of a sudden. And I was a bit nervous, not that scared, like not into hiding mode. And then I started with drafting, pleading, conveyancing, because that was a subject which I felt I could have a strong command initially itself, because I was into drafting before joining teaching profession. So that was one thing which I kind of did an introductory session with them. I don't know, some of the students couldn't understand me, maybe because I was speaking too fast, probably. Maybe I was speaking too much of English. Sometimes that happens. Many of the students may not be comfortable with so much English together. So then I got feedback that I have to add Hindi words and stuff like that. So that's how it started. And before this, I would say in my law college days, the Bhushan Shinde sir, he's very famous in Vivekanand Education Society Law School, Chembur. And sir really is the one who made sure that I didn't have any stage fright. If it would not be because of sir, I would have probably had two double thoughts to even consider that teaching position. And probably in that class, when I was pushed in, I would be blank, or I would have a very bad feedback. So I would say it starts off with good mentors from college. That's wherein I realized that I could be someone like sir. I could guide a few students, and if some of them get encouraged by okay, losing their stage fright, just striking conversations with strangers on the streets for no reason at all, then you kind of remove that barrier between you and people, and then the communication gap goes away. So that is one thing I would appreciate sir as well. And the turning point, I would say, is, I would not say a specific point in time. Started off with me joining itself, and then it kept bettering it off. Like I would say, in terms of events, also a lot of times there were events which were too complicated. It seemed to be easy, but they were complicated to manage from scratch, to organize. Definitely support from higher ups helped me. Principal, vice principal, whichever institution I was, that was another aspect. And recently, I would say I cleared the UGC NET and Maharashtra SET, eligibility tests. And that also, I would say, is a huge turning point for me, because that opened up a lot of more avenues for me. So I would also want to make a clarification that a lot of students or maybe lawyers might feel that, oh, without UGC NET, I cannot even go to any law college. Nobody will entertain me. So that's not the case. It depends on the principal. Definitely, the hiring will be temporary, and it will be on a condition that you clear these eligibility tests within 1 year. So this is all basis the management and the principal. So definitely, if you feel that okay, you're hesitating because you don't know that you should give that exam, you don't know, you're not sure whether you want to join the teaching field, because the teaching field, honestly speaking, is scarce. Like it's empty, I would say. And I would say, I'm not saying everyone should join it. Those with a passion to teach should join it. Those with a you know who have that urge to kind of share or impart their knowledge, they should join it. Like I would say, I am not the most knowledgeable person in the world. Definitely, I know that I am maybe very average, but I have the urge to share what I know. And when I share what I know, occurs in 60 people, if any one of them already knew it, well and good. if they have some information which I don't, then I also learn with them. So these are kind of the situations wherein I felt it's still going on, kind of new in this field. I'm probably maybe most junior in your panel, but it's developing.
Yes, sir. So, understanding the importance of drafting is
Yeah.
something which I have been very, very passionate about, because if you don't know drafts, I feel like you're very indispensable. Anybody can talk, but very limited people and a limited number of people, I feel, can actually prepare good drafts. Sir, so what is your opinion on whether for a law student is knowing the drafts more important, or being able to get over your fear of speaking in front of a crowd more important?
Uh, I would say equivalent. We cannot say that speaking is first and drafting is second, or vice versa. We need to know that law involves three major factors. First is reading. Before we go on to writing or drafting and speaking, if I don't know anything, let's say I'm come here blank, what am I going to say to you? I'll be just sounding like the empty vessels. So you're gonna catch me maybe 5 minutes later. Someone else is gonna catch me 20 minutes later. You're gonna know I am not worth your time. So that is one thing which starts from reading. I have to know what's going on in the world. So it starts off with being in the library. I personally, I would say, I used to be most of the time in the library. Just be there. It doesn't matter whether you're studying, whether you're reading, whether you're preparing. It's an environment, an environment of those who are trying to gain knowledge. That is one thing which fills you up to the brim. And as they say, like in Christianity, we say our cup runneth over with joy. So if I am not happy, I cannot make you happy. The same thing goes for knowledge as well. If I am not filling myself with knowledge every day, you're not gonna find sense about me. Like, you're gonna think that, okay, it's make much sense. So to make myself valuable, reading has to be there as a habit. Coming to your question about drafting, I have noticed a lot of students, they just ask for formats. And a lot of lawyers also, they just sit on the system, and the senior says, okay, open that format and then put the name of the court. And I understand in urgent cases you need to do all those aspects, but you're not going to build any skill. You're just like a clerk. And I always tell my students that, again, no insults to any clerks, but a lawyer is a skilled draftsman. He's not a copy paster. He's not someone who takes some information, okay, name of the court, okay, I'll just change the format. Anyone can do that. What are you doing law for? Why do you have this mind for? So you need to, I would suggest them to from scratch work up without knowing about the formats, then try to improve it, then check it yourself or show it to a senior wherever you're interning, and then you can incorporate the format. That is how I feel it should be done, because then you know that the format already contains those aspects. Your mind will not work कि ठीक है format के हिसाब से काम करना है. Your mind has already worked from a scratch, from a blank document, and it's just putting in the inputs there. So drafting definitely is a skill, I would say. It took me, again, I would not say I'm perfect in it, but I would say 2 to 3 years it took me to make a good draft. Before that, I was always doubting that I don't think this may work. I used to be very verbose. I used to go on drafting. I used to say the same thing 5 times. Sometimes I used to be too aggressive in my tone. Sometimes I used to be too preachy. I used to preach that so and so section, but then you are violating something. So then that's not good. That's not drafting. So again, you need inputs from your seniors. Your seniors also have worked their way from there only. So that is one thing about drafting. And speaking, definitely, I would say you are not just going to submit your written statements or written documents to the judge and stand there like it's some piece of what you can say project. or assignment which the professors collect. It's something which you need to back up. Obviously, the draft is something which the judge or the presiding officer always looks at. If you notice, every judge 70 to 80% of the time their head is focusing on what you're written, but their ears are always open. So if you're quiet or if you're making mistakes orally, then you're not backing up the good drafts, and vice versa. If your drafts are very vaguely written but your oral presentation is perfect, then they're going to mark it accordingly. So definitely your question is very relevant. I would say both drafting and speaking, they need to go hand in hand.
True, sir. True. But yes, I feel like at the pace at which we are going, students are actually getting into the practice of drafting blank documents from scratch.
Okay.
I have seen that with all my juniors, people who join legal specs for internships, we make sure to give them a blank draft. So I think that, at least in our own way, I feel like there is some sort of change which is coming. But I don't know how it is going to be proceeding in the future, in the upcoming years. So, sir, so from guest lectures to competitions, faculty often wear multiple hats, right? So, what has been the most challenging event that you've organized, and how have you handled the pressures accompanying that specific event?
So I would say it started off with weekly Saturday sessions, moot court sessions, but we would not be doing mooting. We would be bringing an expert lawyer, practicing lawyer, or an academician, and we would be taking up a topic which they generally don't cover up in the syllabus. We understand one more thing, that the syllabus is very basic. So if we stick to only that, we technically have nothing to be very honest about it, and we don't get that satisfaction that we have taught something. So that is one thing which we had started off in one of my previous institutions, and that really helped the students to kind of think beyond the syllabus. And I would say organizing small events helped me go on to the inter college moot court competition. So then we understood that it starts off, before that it starts off with the invitations and the guests and so on and so forth. I mean, we would take up a lot of time if I explain the process, but definitely I would really appreciate the students who are always there with me. And as we know that faculty members cannot do much on their own. I mean, we could do everything, to be very honest, because we have done it in the law college as well as students. I have done a lot as a student, but then I always used to say to my students, now if I do it again, then what are you gonna learn? So that's how I used to take it up. Then I would say in the Oriental College of Law itself, we had done our first inter college state level competition, and we got a good response. I would really appreciate Lubda and Vineet. They had spearheaded this, and I would say, they were very, very good in what they expected from the college. As I told you beforehand, they knew that they expect two, three things from the college. Whether the college can give it or not, they don't know. So I like that attitude of theirs, and I could kind of be that intermediary, sort of, to kind of get their expectations to the principal, and the principal could take it to the management, and then we organized a very good one. Almost all of the students had joined the organizing team. It was a massive success, I would say. And again, I would not say my role was there in it. Definitely I was just an intermediary, but I always say that it's all up to the students. If the students expect something, then they need to come up and pitch it. And again, I'm not saying that, oh, it will happen magically. You need someone like me to kind of take it forward, and then also a very good principal to take it to the management for the final approvals and other stuff. So I would say that is one thing. In terms of challenges, I would say definitely every event had some challenges. And extremely unexpected situations had arisen, and sometimes they are disappointing, sometimes they are like, you cannot even imagine them. And as a student also, I've been there. As a faculty also, I understood that these things will be there. But then ultimately, I just wanted to share that we should have a mindset now. Maybe most of us, watching this might not be from the premier law schools, which is totally acceptable. So I have heard this tendency, and even as a student, I have heard these things that ये college में तो ऐसा ही चलता है. So that mindset has to change.
Yeah.
If you have zero expectations from your college, then nothing is going to happen. The college is going to be whatever you imagine it to be. But if you are going to think that no, we can try this, we can try that, and then you organize yourself, you take yourself to the coordinators, to the faculty in charges, and again they take it forward to the principal and so on and so forth. Definitely, I mean, we could not believe that this college in Mumbai, the college where I was working, we could have so many participants from all across Maharashtra. So that is something which we knew that we had already always doubted ourselves. I would not say faculties, the students. I'm looking at it from a student's perspective, because the faculty is always ready to do whatever the students are, clear about. So I would say that this was one of the experiences, and the challenges also were there. I remember when a lot of students had kind of gone totally against me. I was totally shocked what happened. It was kind of a chaotic scene at that time. But then I kind of kept my calm. I did not take any extreme step, and unfortunately, a lot of faculties also were not supporting me. But then I just let it pass. I just let the storm pass, and then later on, looking at it, from the hindsight, I understood that it was just the students having problems with themselves. So in the crossfire, a lot of faculty members also had, we can't say lost their lives, but kind of lost their credibility, or they kind of true faces had come out, which happens in every organization. And that is one thing wherein I realized that we need to stand our ground. In this pressure situation, I realized that if I would have acted in a very emotional way, probably I would have quit the organization, quit the college. I would have probably quit teaching also. And this I'm not saying just like that. The situation was like that, and I'm not saying any specific college or person. This can happen anywhere at any time, and it can happen for litigation as well. It could happen in corporate as well. So there will be situations wherein you feel everyone is against you. No one is even bothered about you, how you are feeling and stuff like that. And that moment I realized only I am there with me. I am there with myself. I have to stand my ground. I am here for my goals, and I have done nothing wrong. I know, but I don't need to prove it. So this is one challenge which I felt, and I knew that definitely I need to stick my ground, and I need to be very determined regarding this. Also, I would just conclude in terms of litigation. I know a lot of my school of now college mates wherein they have got scolded. The word scolded is very common to be used by judges, and they have just left everything. They have not only left litigation, they have left law.
Law
Now they're doing
completely.
some, yeah, now you might also know some people like that. They have just taken up some non-law thing. So then I wonder that does that person have that much power over your career? Again, I'm not saying that be dismissive of them and just ignore them. I would say that don't let anyone, whoever it is, whether it is a lawyer, whether it is a student, whether it is a principal, whether it is a judge, it could be anyone. Just accept it, whatever they say. Just say yes, I'll try to be better, and then just move on. We cannot let anyone make us take up very strong steps. This is one thing, is my advice to all students.
Yes, sir. I can see that you've gone through a lot of high pressure situations. So, in situations like this, how do you personally, approach the problem, especially when the stakes are super high, or like you are in a mental situation where you're not able to get yourself out of it? what advice would you give to our viewers that, okay, in high pressure situations, these are some things that you can do? One of them I figured out, that stand your ground.
Yeah.
What would be the others or certain other advices which you would give them?
So first of all, I would say that we need to not be into this mindset that okay, they are pointing fingers at me, so I will point fingers at them. That mindset has to be removed. We need to focus only on ourselves. And whatever people are saying, whoever they are, XYZ, we can just, you can say we should just kind of introspect. Definitely it's not that they are saying it in thin air. Definitely there's something which has affected them and a lot of other people who are in their group. So we need to definitely work it out. Maybe we could apologize to them. Maybe we could kind of sit with them. We could talk to them on the same table. If they are extremely cold towards us, then we could definitely give them the space and then let the storm pass. Because as they say, whenever a person is angry, if you are also angry with them, then both are gonna, be
Yeah,
perished.
it's like adding oil to the fire. It's
Exactly.
something the proverb, yeah.
Exactly. So that is something where you need to know, you just need to leave the room, to be very honest. So that is the same situation. If there are, again, it could be any number of people, it could be 5 people, 50 people, 100 people against you specifically. Your name is coming up everywhere on WhatsApp groups, on a lot of places. Again, you need to know that you have done no wrong and you need to continue doing the right things, because again it could be some politics, we don't know. Again, I'm not going into all those things, what is their intention and all those things. But what we can do is we need to prove that we have been the right person. I will tell you another similar situation in a similar event. There was a sir, I don't know if I can take names, I would avoid to take the names. He had just joined, and sir was kind of brainwashed by another sir about me. Subtle ways, like, I didn't know what was going on, why that particular sir was having a problem with me. Maybe there was some issues in his own life. And that particular new joinee sir, he looked at me in a very different way, which I understood that this person is being fed something wrong about me. So all of these issues had happened. Then the students again went against me. Principal also was kind of not fully supporting me, which was kind of disheartening to me. So I knew it for a fact that I have to stand my ground. We have to think what can be the worst which can go wrong, right? So then once everything got over, once the event got over, that sir himself came to me and he apologized. He himself realized that that other sir had brainwashed him into believing that I had done all those things. So that is one thing, I had done nothing. So again, it could be my luck also that he himself realized it. But here I want to make it very clear that we cannot change people's minds. We cannot go and tell individually, excuse me, I am good, excuse me, I am done no wrong. We can't do that, because they are going to look at us how they have determined us to be looked at. So I would say in such pressure situations, it could be anything. I know if in corporate also it happens a lot. In litigation it could happen at some level. Everywhere it happens, nothing wrong. There's nothing that, oh, this person is like that, this person likes to do. No, it's a situation. It happens. As long as there are people in the same room or in the same organization, these things are bound to happen, the dynamics. So I would just say keep making sure you have good credibility, because at the end of the day, that is only going to work out for you. If people say you have done these 5 mistakes, you can say, okay, I agree, but what about these 10 good things? And it's their choice. They can focus on the 5 mistakes or the 10 good things. Once they have come out of that phase, again, it's all about maybe negativity or someone has brainwashed someone. Pressure situation for all. Everyone is facing some pressure. So ultimately, we can just hope that they kind of know that they need to focus on the good stuff rather than the bad. So my entire suggestion to all would be focus on giving your best on a daily basis. Your work will speak for you. Nothing is going to speak for you. You cannot defend yourself. in court or outside court, you cannot prove that you are good. You can never prove that you're good. Your work can prove everything. If your work is bad, no one can help you. If your work is good and these things are happening, just forget it. Because ultimately, people are going to think about you, and then they will wonder, oh, yeah, he's not that bad. I think I was wrong, or I think this guy is unnecessarily creating problems with that guy. So this again comes with a lot of experience, and I might have to face much more later on. And everyone goes through it. I know students are going through all these things, which is kind of a bit shocking to me. I got to know recently that at a very small level, students are making groups and stuff like that. So I always tell them, first of all, don't be in any group.
True.
If you because I know one thing very clearly. I tell my 5-year course students also that the group which you make in the first year most probably is going to break in the final year. Either you're going to be with some other group who you used to have a problem with initially, or you would be alone, which is the safest bet. So that is one thing. It everyone kind of knows this only when they go through it.
True, sir. Talking about misconception of individuals,
Yeah.
what are certain misconceptions which students or even the general public often have about the areas of law that you specialize in?
Right. So basically, I specialize in a very, you can say,
Niche
niche
area, I feel like.
niche
Yes.
area, competition law. So basically, this was again we can point it out to the great pandemic, because at that time I would say I was working in corporate before that, and to be very honest, I was really unhappy with what was going on. Although everything was very good, company was great, and nothing as such happened wrongly, but I just felt that I am a small clog in the machine which can easily be replaced. Like, I never felt that I could have my own opinions which could get a platform. I never felt that if tomorrow someone else is there at my place, they would do a better job or worse job. It was more or less the same. So the lockdown happened, and when I was wondering what is going to happen to my career, just as all of most of us were little bit in that situation, I was just going through the newspapers and stuff like that, and then I got to know that there is this concept called competition law, because we had a lot of anti-competitive
Practice.
practices by the digital giants
Yes.
like Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, and all of these, the fangs of the world. So I got to know that this also exists. Before that, again, I'm not shy to admit that I did not know this when I was a
You always learn. I feel like every day is a new thing that you're
ex-
learning.
ex-
Even now, like I'm also not very good with competition law, but as you're saying, I'm like, okay, man, that really makes sense.
yeah,
So, yes,
exactly.
sir. It is. There's absolutely nothing to be,
Yeah,
embarrassed about. I feel because you are always going to be a learner. They say
exactly.
lawyers are liars, but that's not true. I feel like lawyers are learners. We
Yeah,
learn. We are not aware of a lot of things. We. I feel like the legal field is huge, and for one person to know everything is absolutely an impossible feat. I
exactly.
feel like nobody has gone that far yet into acknowledging or being aware of every single thing. Right? There's always going to be something new which you will probably learn by having conversations like we are right now, or by
Exactly.
listening into conversations like we are right now. So I feel like, no, sir. And competition law is still a very niche area. A very limited number of people are aware about it.
Exactly, including myself at that time. So the only thing I knew in my 5-year course, there was that competition law 2002. It was 2002. That's it. Nothing else. I heard about anti-competitive agreements. That's all. Nothing. Just this much. 3-4 words. And I was like, okay, let me see. Maybe later on I'll learn about it, because it was not part of the syllabus. So that was another mistake which I did. It's okay. We learn, somehow. Then I kind of understood that maybe I could do my masters in this seems to be interesting, because when I was in science, I really liked computer science, because I was really fascinated by smartphones and softwares and stuff like that. However, because I couldn't do that, I wanted to kind of make it up in law at least. So then I kind of went into digital competition law, like competition law and digital markets, so that at least I am, uh, in that kind of space wherein I'm knowing about these tech companies, not from a software perspective, but at least from a legal perspective. So that kind of I could complete that. Then I got to know about Jindal Global Law School. Again, I would say ignorant before that because I was not very much knowledgeable about it. It was I would not say fairly new. They had completed maybe a decade approx at that time, and they were fast upcoming. So I was like, how would it work out? Because I wanted to do an offline course, and at that time it was the lockdown time, and also we were thinking that maybe we could join in the second semester. It was a 1 year course only, so we used to get mails every time. But however, there was the farmers' protest, which was at the border of Delhi, and because Sonipat is also at the border of Delhi. We couldn't, for safety reasons, we couldn't, experience the campus life. So, but I would say I still, I'm really happy and satisfied that although it was completely online, which I didn't want it to be, but I was satisfied. Like the level of the knowledge which the faculties imparted to me, you can say articles they kind of suggested us to read, the books they suggested us to read. They had all the material on their portals. Uh, I would say it was a very satisfying experience for me. So that kind of helped me a lot. And today I'm kind of taking it forward because as you said, I'm learning something every day. And initially, like maybe a few years back, and a lot of us, we have this mindset that, oh, I'm learning something new now. Oh, that means I didn't know this before. I won't tell anyone. I'll just keep quiet. I'll just pretend I knew it. So that is, as you pointed it out, we cannot do this even if we are, extremely aged, because that is something which makes us feel very confident. Some of us, I don't know, a lot of us, but that will make us dumb down because we would be stagnated, and there would be another person who would be updated with the knowledge which that person may not be. So it's always good to stay up with the times. And I knew that kind of competition law will kind of come up more and more.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that more, kind of maybe for whatever reasons you can say it's something which is upcoming, and even the Competition Commission of India is also taking up a lot of cases of that instance. And another aspect which you were saying about lawyers are liars. That is one thing I felt, that lawyers are all rounders. I always tell everyone, now let's say there is anyone in the room. It could be the most highly educated person in the world who has 20 degrees, right? It could be the most uneducated person who barely can speak on anything. We need, according to me, we need to kind of gel up with both of them. And it should not sound that, okay, in front of the uneducated person I should sound that, oh, I'm very educated, and I will show him that I'm better, so that I'll feel good, or I'll get scared. Oh my god, 20 degrees, what's going to happen? No, we have to come up at the level of the 20-degree guy, and I would not say come down, but uplift the person to our level, because law is empowering. And that is one thing which I feel, liars, though I would say that is another podcast for another day. Lawyers are liars. That's a very interesting topic which maybe we can talk about later.
Sure, sir. No problem. We will spearhead that one too. Sure. So you balance teaching, research, and also private practices, which is no small feat. And I fail to have any control or any balance between my work life and professional life. How do
Mhm.
you maintain that balance? I have been struggling, and I know most people my age are also struggling to get that balance. So, how do you do it, sir?
Basically, in terms of, I would say, let's talk about the academics. I personally, I feel we cannot stop thinking. People say, oh, when you're sleeping you stop thinking, when you're eating you don't think. It's not possible. You can't stop thinking. And if you're an overthinker, very good, that's a good thing. You should use that. People say, oh, I'm an overthinker, how to stop my brain. You're just, this is the most powerful thing in the planet, uh, you know and this is something which you need to channelize. So I would say, always think of how you can improve upon your knowledge. As I said, in the library, you can just have a look at the books around, the authors around, something which you're weak at. No one is all perfect when it comes to knowledge. That is one thing. We can kind of, what I do in terms of my work life balance, if you're saying, I don't keep a work life balance when it comes to academics. I cannot keep. Like, I'm always on the toes for knowledge. Like, I would want to gain knowledge 24/7. So that is one thing which, it's my choice. Again, I'm not saying everyone should do that, but that's when my overthinking is in the right path. Because if I don't do that, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. If I don't focus on that, I'm probably focusing on something negative or something which is unnecessary. So that's how I cope up in terms of, as you said, let's say, practice. Like, I've noticed a lot of clients, they kind of do not have that barrier between professionalism and personal space. So first of all, I just kind of, let's say, they're calling incessantly, some client, which happens a lot of times. So I just kind of pick up once, I clear everything, and then I just say, sir, you can just feel free to WhatsApp, or you can just send a voice note. I'll just get back to you. And I just try to take them to the chat, which is okay. I have no problem if anyone texts me at 3 in the night also. If they send me 20-minute long voice notes, it's totally fine because it's on my chat. I don't need to urgently deal with it. But a lot of clients unfortunately don't understand that. Then I kind of let them be. I can't do anything about it. That's something you can't teach people. I would not say that I should tell them, oh, so it's 11 in the night. I have a family as well. I don't want to teach that guy. He's not my student. If he's my student, definitely I'll teach him. But I don't want to teach him that. And another thing, which, as I told you, because lawyers are someone you kind of, you pay for their service. So a lot of people, I would say, especially Indians, have this habit that I have bought you. I have paid this. Now you have to work for me. You are under me. So that mindset you can see with a lot of people who go for Uber, Ola services, Zomato, Swiggy. I mean, they have that mindset. It's a very, I would not say classist mindset. It's a very hierarchical mindset that I am throwing money at you. Now you have to be at my feet. So again, I'm not saying they are wrong. We are not here, it's not a moral class in this session. We are here to understand how we cannot fall into that trap. Again, now, if a person himself is shabbily dressed, if a person himself is not carrying himself well, now, if, like, in this session, if I start chewing tobacco, for example, I am losing just giving an example, I am losing credibility, and then you or anyone is going to treat me at that level. So I have that suggestion for all, that we have to keep ourselves at a position that no one can disrespect us. We can't catch their collar and say, chalo, respect me. Chalo. We can't do that. We have to be in a position, speak in a way, dress up in a way that people think it, okay, he's my lawyer, but I have to speak to him in a different manner. Again, I would want to quote this recent Jolly LL.B movie, in that there were multiple types of lawyers they showed. So in that, there was this corporate kind of a lawyer who himself came in a very big car and stuff like that. And in the movie itself, they had shown that how the judge was even speaking to him. A judge was in fact, judge tried to get up. Again, it's a comedy movie, we understand. But we have seen it, right? We have seen judges kind of, having a different reaction to, bigger lawyers and those lawyers who are from big firms. So I'm not saying join that firm. I'm saying, why can't we be presentable, or why can't we speak in a manner that commands respect? So that is one thing I feel that we can kind of make sure that we are respected accordingly. So work life balance, I would say, two different aspects for me: academics and practice.
So practice, honestly, I myself personally have had clients call me at 3 a.m. in the night. I get it. Like, I get it. You're in trouble, but like, boundaries, man. Like,
I know.
so again, you can't really dumb. Again, I would not say dumb down to their level, but like, you should not even give them the space, I feel, to let you, so that you are letting them call you at that time. You just don't pick
Correct.
up. Simple.
Correct.
And then in the morning, once you reach office or once you're in a space where you're, I feel, in a more place where you can actually have a conversation, because 3 a.m. is not a time to have conversation about, oh, this is what I need you to include in my draft, or this is the date which has come up. Like, but like, it is still very hard for people, I feel, to understand boundaries. Boundaries are not enforced properly in our field also. Again, there are two different aspects, even for me, for that matter. In case there's an issue where, okay, if the police has shown up, your house is getting locked up, that's a completely different situation.
Yeah.
But if you're calling me and telling me that, ma'am, I need you to do this, I need you to do that,
Mhm.
morning, please, or drop me a message, like you said. It is
Exactly.
better to have it on chat and you can reply,
Perfect.
rather
Yeah.
than being on call, because 3 a.m., sir, honestly, I feel is not a even mentally, I'm also not in a space to have that kind of conversation. But academics, obviously, anytime, any day is a good
Mhm.
time to you know delve deep into an academic topic, but not, I feel, not work life like that.
Exactly. And also, like recently, I think the the state government of Kerala came up with the right to disconnect.
Right.
In that, if you understand, it's very simple that if you pick up the call, you have to speak.
True.
It's a very, I would say, subtle thing here. If you don't pick up the call, you are not answerable after a specific time, like 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. under that law, even in Australia or wherever they have it abroad. But if you pick up, then you can't say, sorry, I'm with my family now, I can't speak to you. No, because you've picked up the call. So as you said, 3 a.m., if you pick up the call, then you can't scold them, I'm sleeping or whatever. That's unprofessional on your part.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm not saying that, oh, he should understand, you should not understand. You have picked up the call on record. So that is one thing. Again, I'm not saying people don't pick up the call. Again, expectations are there that probably you could pick up the call at 3 a.m. How that expectation came up, so that is something maybe you could kind of draw the boundaries itself. You can say, kindly call me anytime before 8 p.m. or whatever. You could, in your first conversation itself, you could make it clear. Again, after that, whatever they do, you can't control their phone.
True.
Another thing I would say, one of my sirs, like I'm still associated with him in the drafting, arena. He has a different mindset. I would say many lawyers have that mindset. He says that litigation is a service, and we give the best service to our clients, right? So you are supposed to pick up all the calls. You are supposed to entertain the client all the time. If you don't pick up the call, the next person is going to take our client.
True.
So this is kind of something which is the reality, and I would not blame them. Now this is the mindset which they have. Because of this mindset, the client knows he can go to another lawyer. So it's kind of a systemic thing where the client is not bothered about you at 3 a.m. Oh, she did not pick up at 3 a.m. I need another lawyer who picks up at 3 a.m. and I will get it. So this is a systemic issue, I would say, rather than anything else.
Yes, sir. So, sir, finally, how do you see lawyers shaping the future of legal profession? Do you have any advice, or do you have any, um, you know, uh, advice on how students should tackle AI, or how people, or because of the fact that the legal profession is transforming, especially in areas like your subject matter areas, digital competition law, consumer rights, MSME laws. What advice would you give? Like, in general, what advice would you give to young lawyers who are wanting to, not be dispensable, if I would like to say that.
Right. So basically, I would say, is one of the tools, like how we are having our system in front of us. This is a tool. Like if you go back to 70s or 80s, a lot of people were talking about computers just like today some
We are
people
talking
talk
about
about
AI.
AI. But it's unimaginable to not have a computer or a laptop or a smartphone, because we are focusing on the utility of the same. If you ask a clerk, an aged clerk who used to work on books, a bookkeeper, you would say,
Hmm.
anyone who does not use softwares or who used to use only his hand and maybe calculator at the best, the difference which the computers brought is something which AI will bring. Now, have we dumbed down after computers came in 80s or 90s? But older people, again, I don't want to classify all older people in that category, but a lot of very older people, like who are 80s or 90s plus age, they might still be against, oh, what is this laptop session, why don't you go and have a real session? So they're kind of making a laptop session an artificial session. It's not real according to them. Now again, this comes to AI. I'm not saying use AI for everything. Just put the prompt and you got the draft. Just put the prompt and you got the case law. You always see in the news, someone or the other gets scolded for having AI based case
Yeah.
laws. So this is something now big issue for judges, because now they need to have the tools to check if this is AI or not. So they need more people in with the judge, the court clerks, and more people need to be there along with the judge with multiple systems, which is okay, because we can't stop people from using AI. I feel again, there are these tools again available in our keyboards as well on smartphone to make it concise, to make it professional. Definitely, you could try it out, but then try not to be over dependent on it. I would say maybe if you're in the first or second year of law school, try to avoid it. Try to build a good base. When you're in your final year, then kind of use it. This is my suggestion, because then you already built a base, your mind is ready. Now you're kind of using a tool. So this is my suggestion. And I would say I would like to share one experience now again in the exams, eligibility tests, UGC net and these exams. First exam when I gave it a few years back, uh, every time I got a question on the screen, I used to reach out to my pocket, and it's like this, like you can see my hand, and I'm wondering where's my phone. We have that thought. Then I'm like, oh, phones are in the bag. Now, how do I deal with the question? So the mind works like that. So I'm telling you honestly, and I couldn't believe that I will think like this. It's something which you are habituated for. It's called the Google effect. You might have heard. When you know that you will get some information on Google, you will stop saving that information in your mind. Previously, we knew the phone numbers of the entire family. Now we probably only know our own phone number, maybe our parents. We don't know most people's phone numbers. Even partners don't know each other's phone numbers, which is very important. Tomorrow, if some emergency happens, you need to know your partner's phone numbers. People don't need to know. It's on my phone. I'll show you. What will happen if it dies or if someone steals it? So that's called the Google effect. I feel we should not fall into the Google effect. We should use it, use the tools. Like I know some people who totally avoid ChatGPT. I'm not here to encourage people also to use ChatGPT, but I'm saying if you feel that you should use it to improve your knowledge, use it. Don't use it to gain knowledge.
So I feel like it acts as a base, like to understand the concept as such. Obviously, you can use ChatGPT, but after whatever you're
Exactly.
developing after, I feel like comes from reading and obviously going to authentic websites and
Exactly.
actually doing your research. So that I feel is something which I think people can work on. Sir,
Yeah.
I also want you to shed light on how how students or young legal professionals can actually enter into emerging areas, or what are some things they could do to make themselves aware about digital competition law or consumer rights or even MSME law for that matter.
Okay, so basically, as we know, law is something which affects all of us. There's no one who can say no. Like, for example, if someone is very healthy, he can say, no, I don't need a doctor. I have not visited a hospital. But if someone says that, I don't need an engineer, it's okay. But you can't say you don't need a lawyer. Why? Because government works on you and you need to know basics. So I would say that, let's say, in terms of people knowing about more aspects, newspaper reading, definitely I would say it's something which a lot of people take for granted these days. They have these apps. Oh, I have the Times of India app, I have so and so app. I just got the notification. No, that's totally different from reading the newspaper. To know something and to, kind of go into that rabbit hole. I would say it's just like a rabbit hole. You kind of try to enter. You see, everyone has superficial knowledge. Everyone, I would say, uneducated people have the better superficial knowledge. It's called half knowledge is dangerous. So we can be like that. Nothing wrong. We can survive. We won't die. But then what about our the mental fodder? So as you said that we need to keep, again, I don't think I'm the right person to give this advice to younger kids, because I think they know much more than me. I have learned much more from them. My students kind of, they teach me things. So I think they are very well versed. They have been born with a smartphone in their hands. So the level at which they are comfortable with gaining more knowledge, I think that they just need to keep their hunger driven always. Always be hungry for knowledge. Never feel that, oh, okay, now it's enough. Now I just want, I know everything. Now I'll just go and fight in court.
I feel like it stagnates your brain once you reach that mental state that, oh, I know everything. It is going to stagnate your brain completely to the point where even if you're trying to feed it information, it is not going to go in.
Exactly. Like,
Why?
for example, let's say for like in this conversation, there might be certain students who are like, oh, competition law, oh, sounds interesting, but I'll just ignore it.
Yeah.
There might be another type of students who will be like, oh, this seems to be interesting. I have nothing, I didn't know anything. Let me search about it. And then they'll search it. And then maybe after 10 minutes, they're like, okay, this is what it means. And the third student will be, oh, this is something very new. I'll just take today's day to learn kind of basics about it.
Mhm.
So you can fall in any category. It's up to you. But that consistency has to be there. I'm not saying you should be a jack of all trades. Oh, I said competition law. Now, get the books in the library and 1 week read it. No. At a very undergraduate level, you just need to, again, an undergraduate is a jack of all trades, to be very honest. Generalist. You need to be a generalist, then a specialist. You can't suddenly be a specialist without knowing anything. So the generalist has to know everything, something of everything. And then he can kind of go into that rabbit hole. That's what I kind of feel.
Yes, sir. I feel like that's amazing knowledge, and I feel and I hope people who are listening actually take that into consideration. Where, again, jack of all trades is, not a master of one, but it's always better than a master of one. So I feel like being a jack of all trades or generalist, like you said, is something very important for
Yeah,
us in the legal profession as well.
exactly.
Um, so now it is time for the Law Cafe, where we step away from serious questions and get to know you as a person. So I would first of all start off with law in 60 seconds. It is a challenging thing for even me, and I'm assuming even you, because breaking down a legal principle under 60 seconds, I feel is very challenging. But again, you are free to choose any topic, maybe something from digital competition law, and could you please explain it to us in 60 seconds?
All right. So I'll just take up, I know it's a complicated topic, but I'll talk about cellophane fallacy. Cellophane fallacy. So basically, it's also known as cellophane trap. So basically, there was this US case on the company of DuPont. So DuPont used to produce cellophane and they had a monopoly in the cellophane market. So in competition law, we usually delineate the relevant market. That is the first aspect. So it could be relevant product and relevant geographical market. So the relevant product market was delineated as flexible packaging material. So what DuPont's lawyers had proven that they have very negligible market share and they are not a dominant player in the flexible packaging material product market, and then they could avoid the scrutiny of the US competition commission at that time. But then later on, after many decades, like today when we learn about competition law, we understand that the price of cellophane itself was so high, highly priced, that whenever they gave any discount at that time, people wanted to buy it, not because it was in a discount, because it was already highly priced. Again, maybe this is a confusing topic. Competition law is confusing, but definitely I just wanted to bring this up. So the competition is not between cellophane and other flexible packaging material. It is only in the cellophane, because cellophane itself is a separate relevant product market. This was proven much later on by economists and competition lawyers. So again, I know that it's not easy to understand anything in 60 seconds, but definitely just wanted to put it out there. If you keen more, you can just find more about it.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. In my opinion, every lawyer, educator, be it anyone in the legal field, has that one situation or that one case which leaves a lasting remark, right? Maybe because it was challenging, or maybe if it was emotional or just eye opening. For you, sir, what was that one case which changed the way you look at law?
So basically, previously, I had learned that we need to be more litigious, and we need to keep filing cases, have more things to do in the court. But then slowly I realized, as I became an academician and later on, that it's better to settle out of court as much as possible. I'm not encouraging everyone to settle out of court, but as much as possible, try to settle amicably. So this was one thing. It's my own case, I would say. My family's, we had a flat in a project, I cannot name that, and initially we tried a lot to kind of get a refund, because the possession was very late. So we didn't want to go to RERA, we didn't want to go to the court, and we tried to wait a lot, but then we could not get clear answers. And the builder was blaming the authorities, because the project was in the airport zone, Navi Mumbai airport zone, and some issues were there, which I totally understand. I didn't say that it was a lie, but then in terms of the project, it had lost its utility, its marginal utility, as they say, because we wanted it at a specific deadline, but we did not get it then. So then we asked for a refund. Now they said that we cannot give you a refund because the delay is not from our side. Then we found out in RERA that delay is a delay, whether it is on the authorities side or it is on the builder's side or whatnot. If the possession date is not honored, then the case can be incorporated. So this was one thing we got to know through the RERA expert lawyer, and then we decided to take up the case. So there was a lawyer, and he's a senior only from my law college, and he was into all this, so he knew everything. Now we did not want to go legally, right? As they say, going legally, you're kind of making enemies and stuff like that. But we made sure that it's a balance between the expert lawyer, right, the domain knowledge expert lawyer, as well as the amicable resolution. So I kind of understood here that it's not only the law which will work, and it's not only the dependency on the amicable solution that will work. sitting on the table for negotiations. So you need to balance it. I'm not saying go and arm twist. Some people like to arm twist using the law. It's a strategy, I understand. Some people avoid the law. They say no, lawyer means they will think that we have against them. No. So keep a balance, understand your options, and I would say this is something which really helped me to understand this aspect, especially in the RERA case. So this was one eye opener for me, the whole process, and it took a lot of time. Another thing I would say, some students and youngsters, because they're kind of impatient, which even I was, they kind of expect quick results. They're like, oh, nothing is happening. I think this is meaningless. This is not working out. But you'll only get the benefit of the hindsight when you look back. You can only see the dots connected once you complete the picture. So you need a lot of patience, and you need to be determined that yes, this will be possible one day.
Okay, so that is some intense eye-opening, case. But sir, in every lawyer's career, there are these unforgettable, funny, quirky moments. Do you have any? And if you could share one of them with us, maybe something unexpected which has become a story now.
Right. So basically, it's I found it a bit unusual for me at the time. Many years back, basically, we had to file a case in the consumer court in Alibag. So basically, Alibag is a place a little bit distant from Mumbai, and usually in those courts they only speak in the vernacular language of Marathi. So obviously the draft was in English, but then when it came to the admissibility stage, right, at that time the judges were asking questions in Marathi constantly, and I was answering in English. Obviously I could understand Marathi and I could speak very very basic, but legal language I did not know. So I could not understand complicated Marathi words and stuff like that. And I noticed that the whole court was kind of giggling at me because they understood that I'm not,
Native
Maharashtrian.
Marathi speaker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was slightly embarrassing for me, but definitely I knew that I have to go through it. And I got a help of a lawyer who kind of translated one each word. You know, when the judge was saying something, judge was totally clear that he will not speak in any other language, which is his choice. Again, I don't want to make any comments on these things. But I could not understand many of the words. And that lawyer, thankfully, he helped me. He said, ki, what is the cause of action? Cause of action, pooch rahe hai aapko. Like that, like that. So he was just helping me, prompting me from the back. So that was kind of unusual for me. And at that time, I realized that whenever they teach, the legal language, like legal languages in every syllabus, they should also teach local legal language.
Yeah.
Because you are going to get the license from your state association. Again, I don't want to bring any politics or any language war into this, but definitely a person like me, I have nothing against any language. I would definitely want to learn the important legal Marathi words, but I want to learn it in the law college only.
Yeah, you
That
don't
was
really want to
not
go to the court and be like confused, like what is happening.
exactly. So that was my suggestion a lot of times, but then again, I don't know. It's a decision by the Bar Council of India. Probably they don't want to encourage people to be, focusing too much into the
Language politics, I feel.
issues. But then this creates like a double kind of, time where you have to make notes, which is also fine. If you're learning a language, you need to make. But then, like, what if I'm not knowing the spelling of that? What if I am not pronouncing it rightly? So at that time, it was a very unusual thing for me. I felt a little embarrassed, definitely. Although I heard some words which I never heard. And then another interesting thing was when I discussed it with my Maharashtrian friends, even they had not heard that word before. Lawyers. So again, legal words, the legal words of a vernacular language, wherever it is in India. they are going to be different. Judges would definitely know it, maybe senior lawyers would know it, a vernacular person who studied in that language would know it, but an English medium learned person would definitely have a disadvantage. So again, it's just a suggestion. If anyone is viewing this, again, I know Bar Council of India only decides these things, so let's hope they try to incorporate it later on.
Yes, sir. It is a problem anywhere, like especially if you go to the lower courts
Yeah,
or
yeah.
courts which or judges would specifically prefer to conduct their cases in a certain language. I feel like for people like me who again converse or to have a conversation in the language is one, but to
Mhm.
actually argue is a completely different thing.
Different, yeah, exactly.
So I feel like yes, language does become a very important aspect there as well. So time for some fast-paced fun. I will be throwing some short questions at you, short answers, and let's try not to think too much about it.
Yeah, sure.
This is called the rapid fire round, and there are about 10 to 12 questions which are going to be very fast, which I'll be throwing at you.
All right.
So, your favorite legal book or author?
So basically, it's We the People by Nani Palkhiwala. That's my favorite book.
That is an amazing book, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, so the toughest case you've ever handled?
I would not say toughest, but specifically, I would say all the cases are tough and all the cases are easy. So I cannot rank them accordingly. Can't
Okay,
rank.
no worries. Sir, so one subject you love teaching the most?
Oh, okay. So basically, I love teaching the most fundamental subject, and that is the law of torts, and also contracts. The subjects you have in the first year of law. I love teaching that because I can kind of take up
Shape
any
them.
topic from anywhere, and then I can kind of bring back to law. So that is one thing which I kind of love teaching.
Amazing, sir. So one subject you found most difficult to study as a student, but now you feel like it's pretty easy as a faculty.
Uh, I think CPC definitely. CPC is a very very. Uh, I mean, it looked like a huge mountain at that time. So it was something which I couldn't believe that I need to cover the entire subject in one semester along with CRPC. So because it was very confusing to learn both of them. But now when I look back, it's like it's one of the easiest subjects. There's actually nothing, to be very honest, there's nothing to learn. It's just like these are the orders, and these are the, it's like more of a procedural aspect. So just you need to know where what stands where and stuff like that. So but if you memorize those things, then it's a different ball game. So I would say CPC, CRPC.
Okay, sir. CPC for me also was very difficult, but now I'm like, okay, you're not that bad. Like I can, understand what you're trying to say.
Exactly.
Um, while when you're working long hours, what is your go-to drink which you have? Like some people have coffee, some people like their tea. What is your preferred beverage during long working hours?
Basically, let's say now different beverages for different I mean times of the day. Morning, definitely it's a coffee.
Hmm.
And sometimes if I need more, if I have a very tough task ahead, then I take black coffee as well, so that the effect is more. And evening, definitely it's green tea.
Okay.
So chamomile tea is very good, I would say, to reduce stress. And it's good for relaxing yourself in the
Yes,
evening.
chamomile tea is something which I drink before I go to sleep.
Yeah, that's really good for sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, what is your favorite legal-based movie or show? Most people would say Suits, but I would like a different answer, sir.
Basically, I mean, I do not think of that. I know, I understand a lot of people think that, oh, they have to see lawyers on screen also. So I don't have that at all. I come with a very empty mind in the theater. So as such, I would say again, I think, if can I name Hollywood movies as well?
Yeah, sir. Of course.
Okay, so then you have this movie Liar Liar. So that's a good movie. That was I think I don't remember his name, but the guy who played the Mask, that
Yes.
character.
Yes.
Yeah, so that guy, I forget his name all the time. So he played that movie where um, he had a kid who wished that he never lied. He was a lawyer and he used to lie everywhere. So his child was very unhappy with him. I'm giving horrible spoilers here only if you have not watched it. But I mean, I really liked that movie and how it was made. It's I think 80s or 90s movie.
Sir, Lincoln Lawyer that way is also really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Lincoln Lawyer was something a lot of my mentors suggested me to watch. So
Mm.
Lincoln Lawyer is something which I absolutely love.
There are a
Uh,
lot of there are a lot of gems on Netflix and all of these OTTs. But I mean, I think most of the students might have already watched it. I personally, I don't know. I like to keep entertainment outside law, so I don't like to mix too much of law into it. Like Jolly LL.B and all those are like brain rot kind of, So that's good. Like I like those kind, but not anything specific. I have.
yeah. So you mean not serious law movies?
I don't watch. I don't watch
Okay.
those.
Like, okay, cool. Sir, your dream collaboration or co-counsel, someone you really want to work with.
Okay, so basically, I really appreciate the, I would say, clarity of thought of Prashant Bhushan. So his level is, I would say, unmatchable today in terms of the clarity of thought and his preciseness of arguments. Whenever I watch him, again, I don't know him personally and I've not watched him in court. He's in Supreme Court, so that's Delhi. But I really like the way he argues. Very simple, very crisp, very clear, nothing fancy, but directly hits the judge. And you can see it hitting the judge. So I really like that impact wherein you're not using fancy words, you're not going too much into the law section and all those articles. You know what you want, your prayer clauses are very clear, and you know that the judge will give you that. So that level is very good. So maybe in the future, if I can, meet sir, that will be great.
I hope you do, sir. I have seen Prashant Bhushan sir argue.
Yeah,
Um, Absolutely, it is a treat for the eyes and for the ears as well. So yeah, I mean, amazing man, amazing person. I have heard stories about him and that he's a really good person, even outside of the court.
exactly.
From friends and stuff. So again, amazing. Sir, do you have um, like you have practiced predominantly in the Mumbai High Court and the Mumbai courts. Do you have another city where you'd like to appear at least once?
Mm, uh, Definitely, it could be Delhi.
Okay.
Delhi, because again, as I told you, I don't want that language barrier to come between anyone, whether it is a judge, whether it is a lawyer, whether it is an opponent, whether it is anyone who's sitting in the court. So I think Delhi is the only other place. Again, high courts, we know high courts don't follow the local languages. And I would really love to appear in any of the high courts, nothing specific as such, but Delhi could be the next one. Yeah.
Amazing, sir. Delhi is my dream too. So let's see if that happens. Sir, one thing which law students do, which always makes you smile and think like, oh, they're still innocent. Wait till they come to the profession. What is that one thing which they do?
Uh, Innocent in terms of their reactions in class.
Yes.
Okay, so basically, I again that's something which a lot of people, students, don't realize that when you are standing on that podium, at that time you can see what's going on in each student's mind, especially when they are younger. So it's like the transparency is there, right? Whether they are bored, whether they are hungry, whether they are sleepy, they have slept at 2 in the night. I used to make this joke like, oh, I know you slept at 2 in the night. And they're like, sir, how do you know? Did you see my last scene? I said, no, 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 I can see. I know exactly, how many hours everyone has slept. So that is one thing which I feel that, that's one thing people learn to hide. People kind of learn to hide their body language, that, oh, I'm feeling something, but I should not show it. So that a lot of people do it. I understand, like, um, it's good for certain like card games and all, blackjack and all those games. It's good. Some lawyers do it. I have seen them unnecessarily doing it, but I don't think that should be done, because you're kind of lying to yourself, because your body language speaks a lot before words come out of your mouth. And I am a person, strong believer of body language. If I feel that the person's body language is not matching his talk, then I try to avoid this person. And I know a lot of people, especially women, have this kind of sixth sense. But nature has given women a sixth sense that they kind of know something is not matching. So I feel, again, lawyers should, law students should develop this habit. They should kind of learn the micro body language hints. I'm not saying do a course and all that, theories and all. You will learn. Definitely, the more you practice, you can kind of assume. You can ask questions. Like, how did I do? I bluffed. I bluffed that that student slept at 2. So you can bluff. It's okay. It's a harmless bluffing. But then you're kind of, working your way into assumptions, which obviously always will not work. But then that is one thing which I feel that some students pretend that, yes sir, we understood. Then I know if I ask them a question, it'll be embarrassing. So then I also, like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, I just don't do anything, because when I ask them questions, then they feel targeted. Then they have this reaction that, sir, why you asking me only, ask them and all that. I'm like, do, I know, I know the things. And then I kind of, then again I ask myself, am I too boring? Maybe I'm boring them for the last half an hour or 1 hour. Then I try to make it interesting. I maybe switch the topic, make it more interesting and stuff like that. So that's one thing.
Sir, what is one piece of advice you wish someone gave you earlier?
Okay.
While you were in,
Regard.
while you were in law school, or during that transition period of yours?
Okay. Okay. Right. So basically, in terms of the advice, I would say, huh, some students, like even me, I used to be one of those. They feel they need to do internships in everything before realizing that this is the right place to work. So again, it's a good thing to do, but then you're kind of, you can't just work 2 months everywhere. That, first of all, looks very bad on your CV, and second of all, it creates a very bad impression in the field wherever you are, that this person is only working for 2 months. And also it makes you feel that, oh, nothing is really good for me, because when you're having so many experiences in wide range of sub professions, if you can call it sub legal professions, then you kind of feel empty. You're like, oh, I think this was also equally good and this was also equally bad. It becomes difficult for you to kind of think here, now what should I do my career in? And then the focus becomes money, because I understood that, like, if you, again, I have nothing against those who want to make money in this field, definitely a good thing. But then it shows that you're not passionate about that field. Your goal is only money. Like, for example, I realized this in corporate. People's motivation was only money. Like, they had their EMIs in their mind, 1, 2, 3, 4 EMIs, and then they used to work robotically, which is very good. I really appreciate. I mean, I could never do this in 100 years. But then their focus is strong. It's a choice. I would say legally, like in terms of our legal field, uh, I would suggest you, once you know the theory more, of the places, then you don't need to actually intern there. So unless and until you want to try all of the fields, and then because I'm telling you, at the end of the day, let's say you've done 6 to 7 different types of works. Like for example, you worked in corporate, or you worked in LPO, you worked in anywhere. So then either you'll like everything equally, which is a very superficial liking, not like, or you'll equally hate them. It'll be very difficult to prioritize one over the other because your experience is limited, or you'll have to work for 1 or 2 years everywhere, which I know some people do it. You can do that, you can work for a longer period of time, and then once you're like all the fields in and out, then you can take a decision. So but I have noticed a lot of students, even when I was a law student, they are doing one month internship, two months internship, and they're writing it also in the CV. I mean,
But
nobody said.
I feel like those internships, these seniors don't really get to give you work, because in my opinion 2 महीने तो इंसान को जानने में लग जाते हैं. So it takes that much time to at least trust an individual who you probably don't know, to be able to give them actual important and content heavy work for that matter.
Exactly.
So, but again, I get it also, why? Because there are, again, universities like,
Yeah.
they have specific months
Time.
only
Yeah.
when you can intern. Apart from that, if you intern somewhere, it is not counted as internship. But
Exactly.
again, you can still include it in your CV, right? Like, I don't feel like that becomes important, but universities enforce these things. There are multiple universities in Bangalore also. Again, I will not name universities, but there are universities which give you breaks specifically for internship, and if you're not doing the internship, again, it affects your total score towards the end. So there are universities like that also. Even the university which I was in, they mandated you to work every break that they had.
Right.
Dates had to be accordingly as well. So again, that becomes a issue when the students want to work in a specific field, but they're not sure as to when they're going to get a break because of all the varying factors, and then they end up just doing 1 month internship.
Exactly.
So it
That is
becomes
the
tough.
systemic issue. Exactly. And then after the 5 year course or 3 year course, then after that you have to spend a lot of number of years to know what is this field, what is that field. And maybe if you have a bad boss or a bad team, then you
You
feel that the
completely
whole.
lose the interest itself completely, I feel.
And then some people get so demotivated, as I told you, they're like, no, this profession is like this only. They don't want to change because they're so traumatized. So again, we'll have to keep an open mind whenever we're going into something. And again, I don't want any student to also feel ki no, I will do only this. Like I know some first year students, they have determined to you take up only criminal law. I
Yeah.
said next 4 years are left for you, and no, because of those things. I said very good, I'm not discouraging you, but don't
Explore thoda
final,
sa.
don't finalize in your first year. First year is not for all these things. Fourth, fifth year mein you can think about it, because your mind is going to change. So this is one thing which I should have been told, but again I don't regret it not to be told, because again I feel that if I had a very clear mentorship, then probably I would not end up here also. And I'm not saying it in a bad way or in a good way. We always end up in the places where we should end up.
Yeah.
So again, we can't change the past. And again, I'm not saying you should have the best mentors or you should not have mentors. If you
I
get
think good to have mentors,
Yeah.
regardless of how many it is, even if it's just one. That
Yeah.
person would be that one, someone you
Exactly.
can actually go to with all of your work or academic related issues. And if you have a good rapport with the mentor, it is like cherry on top of the cake. You're just able to have conversation. You're able to just talk. Touch wood, I have been lucky to have amazing mentors
Great.
throughout my entire profession. Now also, you are one of them. I know I would and most of the people I've reached out also have been individuals that I respect, and that I know that okay, if I require certain advice or certain things like that. I feel like that confidence also should come from the
Yes,
student by themselves, and that
exactly.
again is going to come from the mentor with how
Mhm.
we are with the students, how we are with the interns, how we deal with their issues. Are we actually taking what they're saying seriously? I feel like a lot of um, uh,
Mm.
people who are seniors now, they forget that these things
Ah,
impact young lawyers and interns quite deeply. And honestly, having a mentor and being a mentor is itself a very
ex-
fulfilling task, if you ask me. And
ex-
I know it is for a lot of people as well. So having
yeah,
mentors was like, I am truly grateful for all of the mentors that I have. And again, but not everyone is that lucky. So I feel
yeah.
not everyone is that lucky.
And also another thing I would say that if you have no mentors, then you become a mentor.
Yes,
That
exactly.
is also, that's what I had as a, I would say, since my first year, because I was very disappointed not with the college. I was very happy with the college, but then I was disappointed with my seniors. Like they were okay, they were like very superficial with me, but I expected them to actually guide me. So then I was very upset in my first year. Then when I immediately went to my second year, I started guiding my first years.
Yeah.
Now many of them were avoiding me because they're like, you're yourself in your second year, what would you know? Some of them, but many of them
But
liked it.
that's also a mindset which we
Yeah,
need to change.
exactly. So now that's the preconceived notion. Like for example, I'm not a very aged faculty member. So many of the students might be like, "Arey, this person is my age only." So what would this person guide me? So it's up to them. Age factor. If
It is
someone is
both,
looking
I
at,
feel. It is,
yeah,
it comes from both sides. Now that I hear this, I feel like it does happen from both sides. That is, the mentor should also give the same energy that,
exactly.
the person who want or the mentee is actually giving out.
The problem is that many lawyers feel that, oh, this person is going to be my rival. If I share this information, this person might overtake me. I mean, this is the reality. A lot of people think like that. And it's not that they want to think that. That is, I mean, they're just surviving,
Yeah.
in the field somehow. Because it's very highly competitive as well, in India, because sorry to say, the licenses are just distributed. It's not a tough exam. It's just like the licenses being distributed of the vehicles. So it's like, yeah, it's a tough world, on the roads as well, because a person who might have not even given the test is on the same road driving a very powerful vehicle, and you might be just on a small two wheeler. So it's kind of like that. So we have to kind of, as you said, maybe you wanted a strong set of mentors in your life. Maybe that's why you have joined legal spec or started legal specs. Could be that. I feel that was maybe one of your inclinations, because then you could come across a lot of people where you could learn from. Maybe I feel that's one of the ways you could look at it.
Maybe, sir. I didn't think of it in this way, but nice perspective. Sir, and now to wrap up our fun segment, what is your prediction for the future of law in the next decade? Will technology redefine practice? Will new laws reshape the business and our society and the legal profession? What are the next big steps that you see coming in our field?
So basically, I feel, first of all, the judiciary will be, it's not that we will hope or we will expect, it has already started. Judiciary has already started incorporating technology into the courts. So that is one very positive sign, which I would say they were most reluctant to do for many decades, for reasons known best to them, or reasons known best to the government, again, because there's some shortage of funds as well due to those issues. Again, as I said, infrastructural issues will be improved. Very important factor these days, as you can see, the younger generation, they're very particular about how the courtroom should look, how the court building is looking, because they see all these shows on OTTs, and it's so precise, and it's like these structures which are so well made with the code written on top, and then when they go to practice, they're like, where is the code? Like, I can't see anyone. Like, I would give you one example of my own. I had gone to a court only, lower court. I can't tell you the name, in Mumbai only. And I was there for some work as an intern before. So I was there. I was just looking for the court clerk or the staff inside. And when I came out, there was a courtroom close to certain windows which were open. So I just noticed one pigeon suddenly from top of the courtroom. It just came out and it flew out of the window, and nobody batted an eyelid. Like, people are so seriously focusing on the judge, and the judge is saying something and the lawyers are continuing. Nobody like even flinched. And I was thinking that this is normalized so much. And I, again, this is my opinion from that time. And I know that younger, students will have much more critical,
Thought
viewpoints.
process, yes.
So this is one thing. Again, I feel the judiciary must start considering. They are already doing it. Nothing is not that they are not doing it. Again, I would say the time it takes for dispensing the cases, the case pendency. I think there's some system being made, I think by the previous Chief Justice of India, and it's going to continue. There's a system in which that's being dealt with, because that's a very big issue and it's an issue since many decades. I would say once the judiciary takes it up, then it's going to be easy, because the system is from the judiciary. So here the government support is also required. We understand that these are three different pillars, and sometimes the government just, I mean, they don't do it on purpose. They have no funds for their own places, so they feel mechanism of funds for that court or anything else would not be given. I remember, I'm not sure who was the Chief Justice of India. I think it was Dr. Chandrachud himself. He had created sort of a funds, if I'm not wrong, a new kind of a funds wherein the court's upkeep would be through that funds. No need to depend on the government. I'm not sure who was that. It was a Chief Justice of India in the last few years. So these things are being done. Leadership is being taken up, because the thing about judges is that they're too much involved into the judgments and all of those rosters, that these aspects somehow go into the back burner. So I would say Dr. Chandrachud, we know he himself, I would say, even now he's kind of someone who kind of very vocal about issues even after his retirement. So we need more people like him to kind of make the change. And definitely I feel it's going to improve. And another thing would be the bar license, that could be probably upgraded in terms of
Stringency, I feel.
stringency. Yeah, background checks. Again, it's happening. I'm not criticizing any specific person or government here. It's happening, but it should be taken up a bit faster, because the students, the level at which they are learning things,
Graduating.
assimilating things from the internet, they should not feel ki nahi, India mein kuch hai nahi, let's go abroad. So that mindset I personally don't like to have for myself. I really believe that we can start somewhere, whatever role we can have. Like, I am an educator, I can just speak about it on this platform. If someone else has some other role, they can do their role. Then we can kind of have a better expectations in terms of everything. So this is what I predict. It's going to be a better future only, no doubt about that. And I was also recently, I got to know about CCTVs being installed a lot of places. So that is very important, especially for women's safety. That is one thing which starts with that, because it's happening. I would say it's not easy, to govern crores of people in this country, but it's happening. And definitely I would expect more of the participation of the judges in terms of these aspects, and it's going to happen as well.
Amazing, sir. I hope all of those predictions do come true. They seem like absolutely necessary in the legal field right now. So before we sign off, what message would you like to give to our listeners, especially students who look up to mentors like you and say, that yeah, this is how I want to be someday when I grow up, or they look up to you and say, they look up to you while they're starting their legal journey.
Right. So that's a very interesting question. I would say that a lot of students, as I told you, they make up their mind very early. So that habit, you could kind of keep it aside, because your journey is going to unfold as you step forward. So again, no one can say, oh, some people ask the question, where do you see yourself 5 years down the line? That question, I feel, is a wrong question. You can't, this, it doesn't exist. Only 5 years is too much. I would say even 1 year is too much. Maybe few months is okay. So I would suggest students to have a clear plan. Maybe now we have a semester system or trimester system. Have a clear plan for that semester. That's all. Know which books you're supposed to read. And I'm not talking about the syllabus books. The books which are above and beyond the syllabus, they could be maybe judges experiences, autobiographies. Like recently, I think I didn't read it, but I want to read this one autobiography of I think Ranjan Gogoi. So that is one thing, because I want to know how he thinks. So it's like better to kind of uh, go through the lived experiences rather than living your own. That's how humans have progressed, learning from other people's mistakes, so that you don't have to commit the same mistakes which those people have already done. So that's my kind of 2 cents for students, that don't have precise long term plans. Have obviously in your family life and all, you should have. It should not be that for your partner and stuff like that. This is for your career. Like, I myself never imagined that I would enter the teaching field, and I would really enjoy it, and I would get so much satisfaction. This level of satisfaction nothing else has given me. So that is something which nourishes my, I would say, soul, or that's much beyond the level which I expected. So that's my story. Something else might come to you. You might come across someone who might find you somewhere. So it's just how it works. You don't need to worry too much. Again, as you said, anxiety is a number one cause of most issues these days for youngsters. I know some youngsters taking some medications also. That's how bad it is these days. So I would say, channelize your anxiety. Anxiety is not bad. I personally believe that. I would not say I'm proud of my anxiety, but I would say that I would be a completely different person without my anxiety. I would be, yeah. So you need to know and have ways to channelize anxiety, and just go with the flow and be satisfied per day. Each day you need to have small accomplishments. Just feel happy for what you are doing. Try to avoid comparisons. A lot of students, I feel, they compare. The rat racing is going on. you know oh, this person is younger than me, but they have this much more salary. Don't do that. Everyone is living a different life. Everyone is having their own struggles, family problems, all kinds of problems. So just ignore them. Focus on your journey. Focus on the book. I would say, learn to speak to the book. I have noticed this, that whenever I read a book, I speak to the book, and then some, that's obviously me speaking to myself. So then you have conversations with yourself, obviously in your mind, and then you can kind of, enhance your knowledge about things, and you will get answers. I'm telling you, whatever you're thinking about, you will get answers. Don't worry too much about money. Again, this is one thing I wanted to point out. A lot of lawyers are like, अरे मुझे लगा ये प्रोफेशन में पैसा है, लेकिन स्टाइपेंड इतना ही मिल रहा है, and all that. Again, I understand the difficulties, but the senior lawyers have not suddenly got a big salary or big stipend. You need to know about them. Supreme Court advocates, whichever High Court advocates, they have had no food to eat. They have had no clothes to wear for years. Get to speak to them, and today they may be roaming around in luxurious cars. So you just see that. You feel कि अरे हाँ, मैं भी ये वाले कार में बैठूंगा. How did he get there? So it's going to take you decades. It's going to be a very tedious process. You're going to feel like quitting sometimes, but never quit. You're just going to take breaks. You can take breaks, you can take unlimited breaks, but just don't quit.
I hope this advice that you've given resonates with our listeners. So that brings us to the end of this wonderful episode of the Legal Podcast. A big thank you to you, Assistant Professor Advocate Ranjeev Joseph, sir, for sharing your experiences, insights, and perspective on both law as well as life. Your journey, sir, is a true example of how one can excel both as a teacher and as a practitioner. That is with dedication, discipline, hard work, and heart. To all our listeners, if you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure to follow Legal Specs on LinkedIn, Instagram, Telegram, and YouTube for more inspiring discussions, internship, and legal learning opportunities. Until next time, I am Preksha Botra signing off from the Legal Podcast, reminding you that law is more than just knowledge, it is a lifelong conversation with justice. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great rest of the day.